You talking about?
Are you sure? Am I loud enough?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
too loud.
can I
Too loud for
start with
some.
can I yeah.
What?
Yeah. Can I start with something
Yeah,
funny that you
yeah.
said? That
Oh
wasn't
shit.
it. What
Oh,
you
oh.
just said then wasn't
I
it?
thought it was.
No. So I told Harry this at the game day on the
hmm
weekend. I
hmm
said that that someone tweeted about setup and pack down times of
hmm
games and they were like complaining about it or something. And you said to me that someone who complains about how long it takes to set up a board game or pack it away
Doesn't wash their
doesn't wash
legs.
their legs and feet in the shower.
Yeah, yeah. That takes
That's so
effort.
funny.
They're
Right.
like, oh no, I've already got water running down. I don't
Yeah.
want to set up and tear down.
Yeah. What is our background today?
I put on diplomacy just to do something. I was gonna put
Ah,
some
okay.
just random Kickstarter that's on there. I was like, well, I'm not gonna give them free promotion. I'll just put my favorite game of all time in the background.
Oh, favorite game of all time. So cute.
Yes, and I have not got to play it very often. It's a game I play very rarely. It's got a bad reputation, and too bad.
Yeah, Dean hates it.
Yeah, and I'm like,
He hates it.
well, okay, so for me, it's all the elements. Number one, simple rules. The rules aren't very hard.
Mm,
Two, determine everything is deterministic. Three,
mhm,
the players caused a random. It's also got
mhm.
high
So
interaction.
everything is not deterministic because players can cause random.
Well, it's whenever you don't roll dice to randomly see who wins. The randomness is whether somebody joins you in combat or not. Bigger numbers win. That's it. Like two troops beats one troop. Done. Two troops push each other. Like that
Mhm.
kind of deterministic versus there's not a random die roll,
Right.
and you get to play the people.
Hmm.
What else? It's long. I also like that. I like that it's a really long,
You
involved
like
game.
that? I love that. That's just like a plus for you.
Well, yeah, because I don't
I
want to
want it
play.
to be long. I don't want to sit down at the table and then have to get up again
Well, okay, for
soon
which
after.
every hour that passes by, either the stakes increase or they decrease for you. So you
Right.
can just wait somebody out. Like it's so important to me
It's
to win is that I'll wait you out. We're gonna fucking. My favorite thing is
a
let's
game
not
of
put a time
chicken.
limit and we'll just play this till the
Right.
end, and then I'll
Till one of us dies.
I've got stamina. If it goes in the nighttime, I've got stamina. But if we make it to the morning, I'm fucked. Or if we say let's go to bed at 2 and then we'll get up at 9. If we're not
And
done by
finish
2,
it.
I'll give up. I'm not
Right.
gonna get up early to play this shit.
Hmm. That's worth noting. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Thanks for
that's
that.
the thing.
I got my
Anyway, so
special mug. I got my
oh,
special
nice. Well, I like it. I like the whole.
magic in magic is in the hole.
That's right. So go ahead and do you want to tell us about your that we were
Game
talking about at the very beginning? Your
weekend thing.
biology
Oh, right.
micro.
Yeah, just like super excited because I started studying the subject. I finally got to the subject second year in uni that I wanted to learn about.
That's
I
cool.
only had to do a year of like other stuff and now yay, microbiology. It's so cool.
Well, you always got to get past all the 101 classes. The
Yeah.
how they weed out all the weaklings. It's like learn all the names for everything and a bunch of math you're never going to use again.
Yeah, and like, oh, you learnt this in high school, but you immediately forgot it. And now we actually have to teach it to you again because you do actually need to learn this part, you know?
Right. Well,
Like we're actually going to use this.
it's like they'll teach you how to survive in the field without a calculator, and you're like, I will always have a calculator, just in case. And they're like, I'll always have a calculator, and I'm not going to
What if you
do
get
this. I'm
what if
not
you
going to
get
do.
stuck on a deserted island
Then
and
I
you need to
won't
do
worry about.
microbiology and you don't have a calculator?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's probably not what I'll be doing on a deserted island.
Yeah,
But yeah,
fucking.
I'm
If
just,
if
yeah, go
junk
on.
food like arrives on the island, right, on the back of a it's just like some wooden planks, and then you get all this junk food that arrives on your deserted island. I
Yeah.
don't give a flying fuck about biology at that point. I'm on a deserted island. I'm going crazy. Fucking instant
Junk
diabetes.
food. Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I
Speaking of
interrupted
junk
you.
food, last time when we had Ian on and we talked about werewolves, which was awesome. By the way, I
hmm
started watching Viking Wolf and I feel totally ripped off because I thought it was set in Viking times. But anyway,
Oh,
when we had him on, I was totally ripped off. I'm really shitty. I'm halfway through, so I'm
I,
gonna
w-
watch
I,
it,
w-
but
I
I'm
wouldn't have
shitty.
watched that movie. I'm sorry.
What? Why not? Viking werewolf times. Like,
Historical werewolf, I fantasy, yes. Historical, I don't know. Depends on how much fantasy's in it. Obviously,
but
some
they've
because there's a
literally
werewolf,
gone,
but
oh, let's get a Viking werewolf. Yeah, shit, that's cool. And then it's like, oh, but we're in modern times. Well, what's the point in it being a Viking werewolf then? Who cares? It could have happened yesterday. I don't give a shit. Doesn't It's not wearing a helmet with horns on it. No, what's the
I was
point?
hoping they would make the link
So
between
annoyed.
Fenrir and the wolf, more.
Yeah.
But I think that's what is that Loki's one of Loki's sons, Fenrir, the wolf thing.
Yeah, Fenris or whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you're
Well,
like whatever.
so far it's very disappointing. There's no law at all.
Vikingless werewolf.
But we've had the old dude who rocks up and goes, "You need to use these," and gives it the
Yeah,
old silver
yeah,
bullets, and he's missing an arm and stuff. Like, yeah,
yeah.
here he is.
That's
I
the
was
guy.
looking for him. That's the guy. Anyway, when we're talking about junk food, and then we're talking about because last week we had Ian and then werewolves. And then the reason why I'm talking about this is because the week before that, I got sick, food poisoning from freaking junk food.
From junk food.
Yes, I'm pretty sure what happened was this is my deduction, brain going.
Okay.
Zoltan bought this packet of Doritos and it was
Mm.
like a wacky ass flavor. Like some of them were green and some of them were red. It was like guacamole salsa, green,
Uh huh.
red.
Uh huh.
I ate some of these disgusting things. I don't know even why I did that, but I ate some.
Mm.
And Zolly and I were sick, and Ren refused to eat them.
Hmm.
So I reckon it was that. I think that it had germies in it. I think we got food poisoning from Doritos.
Okay, so can I give you mine?
Hmm.
Rin was sick like a couple of like 3 4 days before that, and
It
she
was a
had
week. It was
almost
a whole week.
a whole week, and she's more likely to have put germs on things than Doritos, which are barely food. It's like barely food. I'm thinking Rin's
Just because it's not food doesn't mean
right, right, right.
that it can't have
You can lick the
bacteria
floor
on
and
it.
catch bacteria and
It
like
can
get
absolutely
sick.
have bacteria on it.
Yeah, yeah, it
100%.
can. But I think the
You don't have to,
likeliness.
food does not have to be wholesome, okay,
No,
to
no.
have bacteria on it. In fact, it's probably more likely the dodgier the food is, the more likely it is.
I think it's bacteria from Ren. I really do. I think it's the bug. I think y'all it stayed on the surface somewhere, and then I think Zully touched it, maybe touched the Dorito afterward, and it just spread. That's what I think. But what
I
do
don't
I
know.
know?
Oh, well, it's weird. Like, it's a whole week. And also, I was holding her hair when she was puking. Like, if I was going to get sick, I would have got it then, right? I don't know. Seems a bit weird.
Depends if you were extra cautious at that time. It just depends.
She was like a little drunk person, because I
Oh
was
man,
holding her hair and she was being sick and she had the guilt. You know when you have the guilt and you feel bad? I don't know, has
what's the
anyone ever
guilt?
held your hair when you're puking? When someone's looking after you and you've done this to yourself and you've made yourself sick because you drank too much and they're holding your hair and they're going through it with you and they have to watch you vomit and you just feel guilty. You're just like, I'm so sorry for
I
this.
guess
That
I've never
I'm
had
sorry you
that.
have to do this.
I have. I'm like one of like a cat that's dying. Like I'll go seclude myself from everybody, and
You'll
I
go
don't.
hide under the house.
Yeah, I'll go die alone. I'm not gonna have anybody hold my hair ever, ever. Like no one's
Uh,
sitting there. Like I don't even want you sitting outside of a closed door. Like just stay the fuck away from me, way away, and let me suffer, and
oh,
then
you're
I'll
one
be
of
all
those
right.
people. So I'll be like knocking on the door and be like,
Yeah,
"You
like get the fuck
okay?" And they're
away.
like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I definitely don't. And I like the worst is being sick and somebody try to talk to you through a door. I'm like, leave me alone completely. I don't want to be talked to. Anything. It's not important right now. Consider me phased out. Like if there was a way to phase out of the world, I just phased out. I
You want to
don't exist.
ghost. You want
Yeah,
to ghost everybody when you're sick.
exactly, exactly. I don't want to be fucked with. You know this from like we've been talking on the phone, and then I get sick, and then all of a sudden I don't exist anymore. Like I don't
Yeah.
feel like texting or anything like that because I'm in bed with my eyes closed and like my head covered, and I'll turn on the TV for like 5 minutes and I'll feel restless and I'll go back to bed, and yeah, it's this whole
Yeah.
cycle.
I thought you were dead a couple of times.
Yeah, I've definitely
Yeah.
felt it. Like the
That's a bit
time that I ate
scary.
the fucking one chip fucking challenge thing. Oh my god.
See? It's chips. It's corn chips. They can be tampered with very easily.
That was on
Don't eat
purpose.
junk. Don't eat junk corn chips.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't do that, but yeah,
If a
that was
corn
a
chip
thing.
is a weird color, if it's green, if it's blue, if it's black, don't eat it. That's my advice.
Oh,
Anyway.
you never said what replied to my theory about you don't wash your legs or your feet if you
Oh,
can't put games away.
he was like 80% convinced. I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that kind of I can see that.
Or was he trying to
There's
figure
definitely
out
a
if he
link. He thinks
did,
there's
or was he
definitely a
trying
link.
to figure out if he washed his own legs? 'Cause-
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Um, I will say that there were a few people that um, were at the game day with no shoes and socks on, or that they just left them. You know, they get to game day and they just take their shoes and socks off immediately.
okay, okay, so I can see how that's weird, but what if their feet stink more when they're in shoes? Like their feet is like they got some feet stuff, and then like it happened to their shoes, and they haven't bought new shoes, and it's like all it takes is a little bit of reactivation, and their feet really stink. But if they air out their feet, it's not so bad.
No, I've been through this before. I had a situation with some shoes, and I think they got wet one
Also, they're like
time.
moldy.
Yeah, they got wet one time. They never recovered,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved them, and I tried to rescue them. But if I put my feet in them for a second, forget it. It would be no good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe that that's not that doesn't hold out, because as soon as you put your feet in there, that's it. It's transferred to the feet. You can't take them off. You know, you're better keeping them on. At least it's more contained. If you
Mm.
take, yeah, no, you
So
can't
your
do that.
argument is don't put your feet out at
Don't
conventions.
put your feet in those shoes. Those shoes need to be burned.
Okay, but what about people?
I
Okay,
know.
so
I've been through it.
let's talk about these people who went shoeless. Not a fan. Fan.
I'm not
You
really a
mentioned it.
fan. I've got to say, I'm not a fan of that, whether they're smelly or not. I don't think you should take your shoes and socks off. Oh, and then I got on the plane and this dude took his shoes and socks off next to me on the plane. That's a definite no no.
So, am I better off wearing sandals, or as you call them, thongs? Am I better off wearing sandals or flip flops where my feet are already exposed, and the link between taking them off and having them on is so much shorter? It's just like, oh, they fell off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then you can just slide them back in.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's better. So it's just
that's
a
better.
full in your
It's better
brain.
because they've had all that ventilation. And so they've already had the ventilation and they're not all soft and sweaty feet, you know, that soft, sweaty
Mm.
feet thing. And they haven't had the smell of the shoes. And
Okay,
they're,
so
yeah, you got to go with thongs and then just slide them
slide
out of
them
the
on.
thongs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what if I show up to game day, I sign up, and then I immediately show you my feet aren't squishy and they're not sweaty. I just immediately take off my socks and shoes and just
Not
look, my feet
ruining.
are okay. They're brand new,
No, as soon
brand
as
new
you
feet.
start taking off your shoes, there should be something inside your brain that says, what am I doing?
Okay, so
Why
here's
am I
what we
taking
do.
off
Here's
my
what we do.
socks?
We get a bag with thongs or sandals in them. We get to
Mhm.
game day, we take off our shoes and we take off our socks, and then we slide on the thongs. And then when you go by, all you see is the thongs in my feet. You never saw that they were housed in
I
shoes.
never saw that.
You never saw it.
I guess if I never see it, then I can't be hurt by it.
It's all this
Just
elaborate
don't tell
things I
me.
could have no fucking shoes on.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. I don't know why you would do that in the first place. Just wear thongs in the first place, but
That's not a bad idea. I just don't like thongs. I don't like shoes either. So maybe I should just always not wear anything. Just have like bare
thongs
feet all the time.
thongs are 100% gross. I agree
Yeah.
with you. They
Mm.
are. They're all, they've got gross things on them. They've got fecal germs on them.
Oh, gross. I don't mind if I was gonna wear sandals, the ones that don't have that little thing that goes in between your big toe. There's ones that just go over the top. I do like that.
Yeah.
We got
You like
Ian
those?
doesn't.
Oh, the slides. The
Ian
slides.
doesn't like feet
Yeah,
either.
bare feet on a plane is no good. That's gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
this guy sat next to me and immediately
What if he
took off
wasn't
his
sitting
shoes
next
and
to you?
socks.
What if he
And
wasn't
I
sitting
must
next to
admit,
you?
his feet didn't smell. His feet didn't smell, but I still don't think it's right.
I don't want to see your feet.
No.
Yeah. So what if he's not sitting next to you? What if he's like in his own section?
If I see someone with like taking off their shoes and socks somewhere, I'm gonna be like, oh,
Okay, they just
that
take off. They
that
just take off their
air,
shoes. They
the
just take
air
off
in
their
this
shoes.
plane is just cycling around and it's like swooshing past their feet and
They
back around into my face. That's what I'm
they
thinking.
just take off their shoes. They got their socks on.
That's better. I feel
See,
better about that.
I failed that. If that's a test, I failed it because I did do that right there
Yeah.
on the flight to Australia. I did do that. It was a long fucking
Yeah.
flight.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
my
I
dogs were
think
barking.
dogs are barking. Yeah, I think if you're like going to try and sleep, and if your feet hurt like in shoes that whole way,
Hmm.
I'm 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 more okay with it.
Oh,
Ian
do you
says
guys
Aussie
actually
guys with no shoes and shirts in the supermarkets is the worst.
do y'all actually service those people? Because like here, no shoes, no service is like it's a thing. No shoes, no service. No shoes, no shirt, no service. Done.
I
It's
think
like
any guy with no shoes and no shirt, even if he's Aussie or not, is no is
yeah,
no
but
good.
like, do y'all have like strict rules against that, or y'all pretty cool with it?
We're pretty okay with it actually. Like
Really? That's fucking
strangely
gross.
okay. We're strangely okay with it. But
That is strange.
I have seen someone get in trouble for like being in Bunnings, which is like a I don't know what you guys have, Home
The
Depot.
fuck is a bunning?
It's like a giant Bunnings is like a giant DIY
Oh,
store,
okay.
home improvement store.
Okay. I thought it was
You
like a
have to wear
suit or
shoes in
something. I'm
there.
wearing a bunning suit. Okay, bunnings. Okay, I got it. Okay,
Bunnings,
Home
yeah.
Depot. Home Depot.
Bunnings warehouse. Yeah, so like things can fall, right? And
Hmm.
there's heavy
Oh yeah, you
items
can
there, so
smash your
you
fucking
can't.
feet and stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you should wear shoes in Bunnings. But then the funny thing is, if you're wearing thongs, they're okay, and it's like
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
thongs aren't doing anything to. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay. So here there are signs that say no shirt, no shoes, no service. Period.
right.
All over the
Yeah,
place.
you can't really go to a pub with that attire. There seems to be like a specific time of the day when they get really strict about that though. Like
That's funny.
like during the day you can rock up in a t-shirt and thongs. But then if
Hmm.
it's 6 p.m., it's like that's no longer respectable. Now you have to put a shirt on and put shoes on.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
seems to be bad timing because I don't. Can you hear that lawnmower?
Yeah, I
It's
can.
like right outside. Yeah.
Ah, it's
Right.
fine. It's
I
fine. We don't care.
apologize.
It's all your fault. It's fine. We get it. It's cool.
Did it on purpose.
Yeah, like this thing where people treat a con like it's their house. Don't dig it.
Mm,
I don't dig it. Oh,
yeah.
we have another message. I
Hey,
don't
it's
know.
Daniel. No shirt
Oh,
depends on
okay.
how close to a beach you are. Oh, interesting.
Proximity to a
So if you're at a
beach.
beach pub, then it's
So
fine. Yeah, that's true. Actually, you can
if we
go to a
can if we can name the type of bum you are, then it's okay. You're a beach bum. It's fine. If that's what I'm
I
thinking.
didn't meet Daniel at the game day. He didn't come.
Oh, he didn't?
No,
Oh,
you
suck.
didn't come, Daniel. Why didn't you come?
Yeah, no shit.
Uh, oh well.
That's sad.
It was fun though, despite the
Oh,
feet. Oh yeah, so it was some lady who did take off her shoes and socks, won a prize, and so she went and claimed her prize without her
well,
shoes on. Like that's how proud she was. She was just like, "Cool, I'm just gonna strut up there with my bare feet, claim my prize." I think we should have taken it away from her at that point. Yeah, Queensland. So the rules are one step looser. Yeah, I think that makes sense because
yeah,
Adrian actually said because I said it was a convention thing where people are going to take off their shoes and socks because like it's a long day. There's more likelihood that people will take off their shoes and socks. Been walking around, walking
yeah.
back and forth at a con.
Mhm.
But Adrian's like, no, it'll happen in Queensland at the game day because it's Queensland, and the story checks out because that's what happened.
Okay, so if you don't wear shoes, Why don't you just use your feet to grab the prize? That would be the shit. You just
Oh
get your
god,
foot and
that
you
would be the
grab the
next
prize.
level. So proud of it that you're playing board games with your feet. I think
Right.
we've spoken about that before for some
Either
reason.
probably.
We're like
Well,
obsessed
I
with
think I
feet.
told
I'm
you
going to
about.
close the door so it's not as loud.
Okay, so I'll talk about Brian while you're gone. Like Brian
Okay, talk
has
about Brian.
family who has. Like, his friend Brian. He's part of our game group. He says he's got family who will pick. They'll chew on their toenails on their feet. Like they'll pick up their feet and they'll put it in their mouth and they'll chew their toenails off and they don't think anything about it. Like
No, that's
that's
a
what he
lie.
says. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what he says. He says he's got
Oh.
family that would do that and they don't think anything of it. I mean, they won't do it like right off the bat, but like if you're there long enough, they'll just forget you're there and they've got to chew their freaking toenails off. Absolutely fucking gross.
It's like, what the fuck?
That's what he told me. That's a story I've heard.
I'm sure that I would have done that as a kid. I'm pretty sure I would have done that as a kid.
What?
I'm sure I would have done something like that as a kid because
Mm.
kids are gross. And also, I like to show off how flexible I was, so I probably would have done something like that.
But look how
I know I
flexible
definitely.
and gross I am at the same
Yeah,
time.
look how grossly flexible I am. I don't
Oh,
know. Me and
okay.
my bro used to do weird stuff all the time. Like he would like shake his eyeballs like this, and he'd like do weird things with his ears, and like we'd try and like we'd get bored and we'd just do weird stuff. So it wouldn't
Mm.
surprise me if I did something like that. I used to
Yeah.
try and get my toes to like touch my like I could bend my legs back and like touch my toes to my forehead like this, and we just did weird flexy stuff. And Spot Monk's like puking right now.
Okay.
I don't know how we got onto this. It
Board
is
games
gross.
and feet. That's how we got
Oh
onto it.
yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah, and at PAX, someone took off their sock and start. I think I've already told this story, like where they started like flossing between their toes with their sock.
Oh God.
I never knew that was a thing. That was
That is
interesting.
fucking gross.
Flossing
So
their toes.
that's the thing is okay, so like when you play with the game group, new game group, older game group, this is kind of a new subject for this, but if somebody sneezes and they're touching pieces, or they touch their feet and they're touching pieces, or they're like scratching under their arms and touching game pieces, that shit drives me crazy. I start
Yeah,
grossing the F out.
yeah. Well, you are a germaphobe.
I'm not that much of a germaphobe, but that right there, like don't
That is bad.
like
Yeah.
if you're going to you need like handkerchiefs or something like old school. You need a handkerchief. Don't cough on meeples or wood or anything like that, especially not like in somebody's board game. Good lord, it's so gross.
Yeah. It's not cool. I don't like that whole sneeze. Sneezing all over the board is definitely
Yeah, and then
definitely
it's like
bad.
paper and
I'd
it
just
like
be like, you
absorbs
can have
into
this
it.
now. I just leave. I'd just be like, you can have this. You finish. You carry on. This is your game now. And I would just leave.
Okay, so I'm not into
I was like
sleeves,
spraying.
but that would be the best argument you could give me. You would be like, if somebody sneezes, it doesn't get on your paper cards, and it could be, you can deal with it. You actually convinced me right there. I just convinced myself to sleeve everything. Thank you. Now I'm going to spend $1,000
You are
on
not.
sleeves.
You are not going to do that.
I just
There's
won't
no
play
way.
games with
But
cards anymore. Done.
would you wipe them down or would you throw away the sleeves? Would you be like, these sleeves have seen too much?
Like if they're a used condom or something, throw away sleeves. Like, what are you, am I made of money? What the? I'm joking. Yeah, I don't know. That would be a difficult one. How good are the sleeves? If they're the old Fantasy Flight sleeves, those thick ones, they don't even make those anymore. So yeah, I would wipe those sleeves off. If they're the thin ones that break apart real easy, those penny sleeves, oh, fucking, I'm
Oh,
throwing
those
those things
ones.
all day
Those
long.
are terrible. I hate those
Yeah,
things.
those things even stretch out as you play with them, which is fucked
And
up.
when the sides
Yeah,
split. And,
yeah.
I hate
You know
that.
what's bad
They look
is
bad too.
early on when my first set of my first complete set of roll for the not roll race for the galaxy,
Oh,
all
roll.
sleeved like that, all sleeved in those shitty sleeves. But
Mm.
that's a lot of cards to de-sleeve, so I just said fuck it. They're in
Yeah, that's
shitty
too
sleeves.
hard.
Fuck it.
No one wants to do
I'd rather wash my legs.
that. Oh
Uh,
dear. So, game day. The good points. Should I talk about the good points?
nah, nobody wants to hear that.
No.
Let's go on to some more negative
Let's
stuff.
just talk about how gross people are.
Yeah.
Um, I played. What did I play first? Oh, American Bookshop first, which was so good. Um,
I'm glad you
and you got
converted
to play that.
Mitch back. You brought him from the dark side.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So the moment I got there, he had played, like he just played it, and so he looked at me and he played it with 5 players, and he looked at me and he was like, "I don't think that I can play anything that you like anymore." He was like, "I'm done with you and your advice," because he had such a hard time with it.
Hmm.
Because a lot about that game is sort of timing,
Hmm.
where you are in the trick, because you can push the trick over and stuff like that, and you can win it because of that number thing. So he basically said he didn't have any opportunity to win any tricks. And I'm like, how can, yes, Ian, I sure can bring it. How can you win any, like, how can I do anything? Nothing I do will make sense. He just felt like he had no agency. He felt like he
Hmm.
couldn't change the course of the game at all. He only played one game of it, by the
Right. And
way.
the first thing I told you whenever you told me this was too many players. Too many
Yeah,
fucking
too many
players. Five.
players. You need more cards, and you were
Yeah.
100% right. And the next day, that's exactly what everyone said. He tried it again at game day, and he was like he like grabbed me by the shoulder and he's like, "Yes, it's good." And I'm like, "I know, I know it is."
I wish
So
I
he was
could
happy.
talk as deep as a yes, it's good. He talks so deep.
I know he
It's
does. I
good.
can't do it. I can't do it.
It's so
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Um, and then I played. After that, I taught Low and Hertz,
Hmm.
which was awesome. It's so good.
It's a
I
good
love it.
game, but it's a shame you couldn't play it.
Yeah, we didn't get all the way through because they had some like one shot RPG thing that they were doing.
Mm.
So I think we only had an hour. And there was also a kid at the table, which kind of made things a little bit odd because he was doing some weird stuff, I
Hmm.
guess. I mean, it still worked, but he was doing some weird stuff. And they couldn't, none of them could see the power of money. So that one action where you get money, no one wanted to do that, like
Oh
ever.
shit!
And we
I'd
were
have
very
cleaned up.
close to like, yeah, right. And I'm like, no, it's actually really strong, and it will be very strong in a moment because the economy of the game was becoming so tight because
Hmm.
people didn't want to get money and stuff. And I think it was Hannah. She kept getting money because she didn't want to negotiate. So it was like this weird game where like they didn't want to
Oh.
negotiate. It's like someone's going to at least one. There's going to be 2 people negotiating every time. You can't avoid it, sort of thing. But then when we started closing areas off and they could see that whole, having more knights, being able to push, being able to like change that boundary, but then it was getting exciting and they were getting into it. And then that's when they had to go and do the RPG.
Oh.
So they said, "Can you leave it out?" And I left it on the table. But of course, at game days, it's a bit difficult because people want to
They need
use the
table
tables.
space. Yeah, they need
Yeah,
table
and
space.
then I was teaching bus, and there was no way I was going to have time to then come back, and so I packed it away, and then just like 5 minutes later, they said, "Oh, did you have to pack it away? Like, is it?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did. I can't." And they're like, "Can you join us again?" Kind of thing, and I was like, "I can't because I have to play bus." Anyway, they played it by themselves. They figured it
Hmm.
out and they played it, which was good, and they said they really liked it.
That's
So
amazing.
it went really well in the end. Yeah. I
It's
think
always
they just got to the good bit and they were like, "Oh, this is getting juicy," and then they had to go.
it's always great when you can sell a game that's out of print.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a little bit painful, but
but it's so cool to show somebody the game. It's like I wish they brought that
yeah.
game back into print. Did they freak out
They
at the
might
very
one day.
did they freak out at the beginning thing that everybody freaks out nowadays where you show what you want before the next player? Like you have the 3 cards and you vote on what you want, and then
It's
the
so
next player
vulnerable,
goes.
right? You're so
Yeah.
vulnerable. You're like, I want to do a night. I want to
Yeah.
just have a night. Let me. And
Yeah.
then people are like, no.
Like
Yeah.
everybody always like that's their first thing before they play. They complain, "Are you sure this is the way it's played?" Or do we just all reveal at the same time? It's like, no, that's that's not this. This is old
Yeah, that's
school,
the
man.
beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of it depends on how much money they have,
Hmm.
compared to you. So of course you want to know what they're doing because you want to be able to pick who you're negotiating with. That's the clever part of it.
Okay, and then after
Unless you're
lower,
Moe and then you just have a stack of money this big, and then it doesn't matter who you negotiate with because you're always going to beat them.
right? Like at the very
That's your
beginning of the game, I'll
strategy.
just keep following people who have money and then give them what they want. Just give me like $3, $4, no big deal, and just keep whittling away, and then
Yeah.
hopefully I turn it over.
Next
But
thing you're
anyway, so what
rich,
was
and then
next?
yeah. So then I played Boss, which was
Mm,
amazing. It
Bus is
went
so good.
went so good. It
Has
really went
Ian
well.
played
Everyone
that?
loved it.
How about the other people in the chat? Has everybody played Bus? I
Has
hope they've all
everyone
played Bus.
played?
If they
Well,
haven't
Daniel
played Bus,
showed me Boss. Daniel's
okay,
played it because he taught me Boss.
yeah,
Yes. Oh man, it was so good. I'd
Bus is so
failed
good.
so hard. Everyone was screwing me over so
I love Bus so much.
bad. All of the actions are so important. They're
Ian,
all
you
so
have to play
important.
Bus. The action you can teach the game in 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and you can master the game never.
Never.
It's
Never.
just it
It's
changes with everybody that plays. You think you have something down, and then somebody does some weird shit, and it's always good. It's so good, so
but if you
interactive.
want to get points, you have to get buses. I think you have to
Yeah.
get more buses.
Oh yeah, you have to get
I think
buses,
I
but
only had 2 buses and it didn't
that's where the
go
fight is
well.
in the game. The buses. You have to fight
Yeah,
for the
there's only one
buses.
spot. There's only one
Yeah.
spot for bus, and I should have done that more because then when I actually got first, I got first a couple of times in like vrooming people,
Mm-hmm.
and I only had 2 people to vroom,
Mm.
and it's just not enough points. It's not enough
Yep.
points for all the negative points I got from stopping time because people are trying to screw me out of vrooming. Oh, it's like it just I couldn't do anything. Oh, it made me so sad. I got 2 people to where they want to go. And that was about it. I reckon I got 2 points in the whole game.
You're
Yeah,
supposed to have like an advantage for head messing with Uber. You're supposed to have an advantage.
right. I didn't. They need to do that. They need to add an Uber expansion.
Yeah, they do.
Um, it was fun. Everyone loved it. We were laughing our heads off. It was just chaos. And then and then Haig, who I played bus with, is like, "You've played Turing Machine. Teach me Turing Machine." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll learn that." Oh my god, that is the worst game to explain. The worst.
Mm.
It is so difficult to explain how that game works.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like because you have to get a fake code, right? You're trying to guess a real code
Mm-hmm.
that's a combination of 3 colors and 3 numbers, 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take like a pretend code that's got all these little punched out squares and
Mm-hmm.
things, right? And then there'll be all these different like verifiers, and you're testing that code to the verifier.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll say something like, and it's a logic puzzle, so it's things like what is the yellow number in relation to 3, and then you'll only see a tick or a cross,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be like, right, you've chosen, like, let's say I had yellow 5. If it's a tick, then the verifier is telling you that it's more than, no, if it's a tick and I did 5, because that's more than 3, then it's right. So the yellow number is more than 3. It's so confusing.
Mm.
And you've got to
Yeah.
do that with all of the things and figure out what the code is.
Mm. Yeah,
But
I
you
don't know
get
about
this
that.
tick, you get this tick or this cross, and you're like, huh, that's a bit of information. What is it? What is the information again? What is it actually saying to me? It's so confusing. It's like asking someone a question and them saying yes or no, but you didn't want a yes or no. You wanted an answer. It's like, no,
Mm.
tell me. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, I hated teaching it. I don't think I ever want to teach that again.
Mm.
But we did like a round
Well,
and they got it. They were like, oh,
well,
right, yes, this makes sense. Just do an
it
open
it
handed round.
it works because I don't really want to learn it. So, well, I
Okay,
think
good.
we got it.
I just turned you off it.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's funny. All right, good. Good.
Ah, we got
Um,
horseless carriage. Ian's got horseless carriage. Nice,
oh man. So
nice
I did
man.
I actually saw the guy that runs the shop that I bought horseless carriage at, and he was
Mm-hmm.
there, and I was like, so has it arrived?
Where's
Where
my
is it?
copy?
Like, where is it? Where is it? He hasn't got it yet. So
Mm.
it sucks. Seems like
Yeah,
everyone else is getting it.
the one here on we have the West Coast and the East Coast. The ones on the West Coast are in a what do you call it, a container. They're a
Yeah.
container not being quarantined. They're going through customs in a container, and they can take up to a month. So half of this country ain't gonna get theirs for a while. It's gonna be
Yeah.
at least a month or so because I guess they're suspicious.
Suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Probably.
get randomly pulled uh for that kind of stuff, and I guess it got pulled.
Yeah. Well, games can carry gross things like my Necroturd game that was moldy.
Yeah, gross.
I had to throw that bag out. It was. Did I show you a photo of that?
Mm-mm.
Did I show you a photo of the bag? Okay, so it came with a bag that you got to
No,
put the
I was
things
there for
in,
the
and it
bag.
was moldy. Like I'm talking, I've never seen anything so moldy. It
Mm.
was about to move. It was
Yeah,
about
I
to
was
leave the
there when
box.
you showed me the bag. It was gross.
What? You were there? I
Yeah,
thought
I
I
was
threw
there
that
when you
out
opened
before
it.
you.
No, no, no. We opened it, and
Oh, I just assume you're not there. So you're never
oh, how
there.
sad. How sad.
Mm, that's so sad.
Okay,
So
so
far away.
Turing Machine moved on to what'd you play after Turing Machine?
Um,
Anything?
then we played. No, I think then I was like, I'm done.
Done
I'm good.
brains
Oh, I played
mush.
another American Bookshop, and then I was like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm good now.
oh.
I think it got to 10 o'clock, and I wanted to leave. I'm so tired. I'm so old. I was so done. I was like, yeah, I'm
Mm.
ready to sleep now. I just watched other people having fun.
Y'all did get up at
It
the
was a
ass
good
crack
day.
of dawn to go to that
Yeah.
goddamn thing like at 7:30 or 8 or some shit.
Yeah, Adrian gets up at like 4:30, and then everyone was
What the
milling around.
fudge?
He gets up at 4:30, and then
I
everyone
go
was
to
milling
bed
around
at
my door at
4:30.
6:30, and I was like, I'm not okay with this. Like, it starts at 10. What is everyone doing? Go
Yeah, I
away.
I go to bed at 4:30 ish.
I know. Yeah, but you're a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh, that's too early.
that's all I have to say about that. That's your problem. That's your fault. So, what other stuff? What's this list of 22 things you wanted to talk to me about?
I just put some random shit that crossed my
Okay.
mind here and there. You're welcome to look through it if you can find
Okay.
anything.
All right. Here we go.
It doesn't matter if there's anything.
Because you
There's
haven't played anything on the weekend, have you?
no, I just worked on original stuff and that was it. I think I play tested last week and the week before. There was some play testing of like Daniel's game, and I forgot the
Oh
other
yeah,
guy's.
we should talk about that.
And then the other game that was a worker placement game, I forgot his name. I forget his
I only
name.
know his Discord name, which is hard enough to remember. It's like NPSP something, some number.
Yeah. So he's doing some changes on it, so we should play it this next coming week, which is cool.
And it's a
Um,
worker placement game that's actually about placing workers.
right. That's the whole
Right.
thing.
That's what you
Yeah.
like to do. He stole that from you. You're about the workers
I'm all about
being
workers.
workers.
I'm
Hmm.
all about worker oppression, though. I don't know
Yeah.
about like placing them. More like taking them out.
Like stressing them, poor
Yeah.
workers.
Yeah. Then there's Daniel's the
Asbestos.
asbestos. That was cool. It's got some really
That
cool
was fun.
ideas. I can't wait for to play it again when he
Yeah, so
does
it
his
had
stream.
the it
Go
had
ahead.
that cool thing of like there's a joint map, so it's not like different countries. All the countries are like connected. So there's that thing on top of like if one country goes down, it means you can't then go through those connections
Oh yeah,
potentially.
that
Like
was
you might have
interesting.
built. So that's interesting. Yeah.
I like to
Um
press your luck because I was really pressing my luck and I totally fucked up with the luck. Rolling the
yeah.
dice and destroying a country. Oh my god.
Yeah. So there's like safe dice and death dice, and then if you purchase PPE, then you can use the safe dice. That's only got a little bit of death, and you didn't do that so much. You
Nah.
didn't do that as much as you thought, which is funnily enough, that's the same thing I do in the cost. I'm like, oh, I've got enough. Yeah, this will be enough resources in this country to do the things I need to do. And then, of course, you forget that, oh, no, I'm going to be doing that twice. I need it for the mine and the mill. Or I need it for in case someone else sends me like I need to have more. Always have more
Yeah.
than you think you should have. So
Uh,
yeah, so that was similar, but also the subsidies was really cool. Like the way that he did subsidies in it and
mhm,
had the
definitely.
cards that were literally a discount on doing things in that specific country. I thought that was a cool way to do
That was
subsidies.
cool. Daniel was just saying, there was nasty industrial accidents
Yeah. Yeah.
caused by Mo because he didn't buy
I was about to
PBE.
say, was it an accident? No, I think Mo was doing that on purpose.
I was pushing my luck. I
You
was
were trying to
definitely
catch
pushing.
up to my monies.
Yeah. Accidents. Exactly. Accidents. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
was a
that
lot
was
of fun. And anybody else in the Discord, if you've got something, I'd like to check it out. And if you want to check out some stuff, definitely have a lot of stuff that needs to be played.
yeah. So one of the first things on your list is resisting the urge to join the design trends. Is this like you're
Okay, so
talking
this
about,
is
like, for
completely
example,
me.
you doing a trick taking game right
Yeah,
now?
not
Like
gonna
you
do
don't
it.
want to do a trick
Not
taking
gonna
game
do
right
it.
now.
I wanted to do a trick taking game for years because everybody
Right.
wants to do a trick taking game right now. I'm not gonna do one. I'm fucking not. Not. I refuse to do a trick taking game. In fact, I think I refuse to play trick taking games until
Oh
people tell
no.
me the good ones. They're like, "This is a really good one," then I'll play it. But
Don't
it's
do that.
way.
Don't be a hipster about it. Don't be
I
like
really hate
everyone's doing it, so
trends.
it's not cool anymore.
Like back when it was all what is it deck builders. When it was all deck builders, I didn't gain anything from playing all the deck builders. I lost something playing all. I lost my soul playing a bunch of deck builders. Like I liked
Yeah.
Dominion, that was badass, and then the second one I played was Martin Wallace's Few Acres of Snow. I liked that one, and then it just started getting ridiculous. And so, I mean, I'll play a deck builder, but it's not. I'm not gonna really want to. I'm a hipster. Okay, I'm a hipster.
So
God damn it.
even now that it's not super popular, you still won't play a deck builder? Or now that trick taking games are like the popular thing, now you're gonna get suddenly into deck building? Is that gonna
No,
happen
you
now?
need to tell me that it is innovative. If you tell me something's innovative or different, or it's got a really cool theme, yeah. But in general, it doesn't really turn me on. Turns me off a little bit.
Deck building?
Deck building does a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, it's not going to
Oh.
make me want to play a game. If you say, "Oh, it's deck building," I'm like, okay, what else is it? Because the first thing when you
There's
say it's a
something
deck builder, I'm going to ask you how many cards do you start out with? How many cards are there total in your deck?
five.
And
There has to be five. That's the
yeah,
rule.
then I'm going to say no, I'm not interested. And if you
What if
say
I
there's
said you have to start out with six? Would you
then
get
I'm going to
more
say how
interested?
many cards are left in the deck. And if you say four, I'm going to say I'm not interested. If if it looks like Dominion, but you're just trying a little bit different, no, I'm sorry. I've played it
If you
before.
really start with 10 cards, but it's just a different
Yeah,
different
you start
starting
with
hand.
six cards and then you get four. I'm going to be like, no, man. But I'm a hipster. I'm a hipster. I don't want.
You are,
I'm real.
so you need a friggin' plaid shirt and a beard.
Yeah, like the thing I told you about like tattoos. I wanted a tattoo until everybody had one, and then I
Everyone
was
got
like,
one.
now I don't want one at all. Even though I have some pretty cool ideas, it's done. And at one time I wanted a facial tattoo, and now there's too many face tattoos out there. Not gonna do it.
Yeah, even those are everywhere now. And those are scary. I'm glad you didn't have one of them. Spot Monk said, "Bring back the roll 'em right." Oh, we just had those. That was just now. That's just now ended, and it still hasn't really ended. They're limping along
Well, no,
still,
it's
dying
the
slowly.
how many roll and write deck builders are there gonna be? Because that's a new
Roll
thing.
'em
That's
right
gonna
deck builder.
yeah,
True. Yeah, you
roll
got to
and write
smash
decker
those two
builders
things together.
with trick taking. There you go.
What about a roll and write trick taking game? Has anyone
Yeah,
done that yet?
it's gonna. Well, I
It
don't
needs
doubt
to
it.
happen. Daniel says, so you're not interested in trying a deck builder where every time you cycle your deck, you are time looping. Oh, that does sound pretty cool.
Okay, so you got a gimmick. I'll try it.
As
I'll try it. I'll fucking try it.
long as it feels like you're doing that and it's not just,
I was just
yes,
kind of
you're
being facetious
time
about the whole thing.
looping.
I what was the last trick taking game that was not a trick taking game? Deck builder that Leader Games made. It's like one with school or something. It's like an orange box, and then you're like a kid, and you got like little
Oh,
pizza
Fort.
meeples. Yeah, Fort. I liked Fort. I
Yeah.
didn't love it, but I liked it.
Well, the cool thing about that was the cards you don't use, you have to put them there like a little come take my cards that I didn't use. I don't like that at
Yeah,
all. I'm like, no,
I didn't
I
think it
got
was
these
amazing. It
cards.
was all right.
I
It
put these
was
cards in my deck for a reason. I don't want you to take them, and people
it
took them.
it didn't make my top 100,
No,
and I played it and I own it and I'd trade it and I'd sell it.
I had a lot of fun with it for a while, but then I
Mhm.
did get over it. I did feel like I was pretty much going for the exact same strategy every time.
Well, that's
Because
the
I mean,
thing is
essentially, it is that. It's just you're racing to get the resources to upgrade your fort, and I don't care what anyone says. That is the best way to like score big in the game.
that
So
was the thing for me is I wanted to show everyone who hadn't played it yet. Once everybody played it, then I wasn't interested in playing it anymore. I
yeah,
showed you Fort done.
fair
It
enough.
wasn't amazing enough to continue playing it.
Yeah,
So anyway, what was the oh yeah, that I would the
design
design
trends.
trend thing. Yeah, every time I look on Twitter and I see 20 people wanting to do the same thing, I'm so turned off by it because I'm a hipster. I don't know what it is.
It's really hard though because these things happen kind of naturally as well. Like just because someone is bringing out a trick taking game doesn't necessarily mean like they might have been working on that for ages.
Mhm.
It might just be their, bloody bad luck that it's
They got bad luck. But this
right.
this goes to that thing when I listening to these rappers talk about their music, and one guy was just like, once you get older, you can accept the idea that you don't have to put it into the wild right when you make it. Sit on it for a while. Like if it's timeless music, it'll be timeless. Like you don't have to be the guy that just puts it out there as soon as you can. Like there's a race to the bottom tendency with commercial stuff, you know? So make it and wait. It's the wrong time for it.
Like Mo, and now Mo has 8 games that are just waiting for the
Yeah,
right time.
you
And
know
then
what
you go,
you
"Oh, I've got this one. Oh shit, it's about
there
the
I
first cars,
I
and now we've
think
got
we need a
horseless
new
carriage."
co-host. I really do. You've been voted out. You've just been voted out. I'm sorry, you talk too much. Like I need someone else who's a little quieter.
Seriously, when I said that, your face
Only
is
when
just
you said
like,
that.
you
Now I'm
died a little
talking.
bit inside. Spot
Uh,
Monk said, I've been working on a deck builder with bluffing. That sounds interesting, but the bluffing was
hmm.
too risky and I got frustrated and shelved it. Oh, maybe you could make it work though.
I'd be down to try that. I'd be down to screw around with that. See, I'm saying I don't want to do this shit. And here I am, like, yeah, I want to try that. Give me that. Let me try
Ah.
that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because
I've
you get
you.
all caught up in the design thing. You're like, "Oh, new designs." Like, you only
Every
need to see a prototype. You are so weird with that. You see a prototype that looks like it's just 100% not your game at all. It's like,
I'm so into it. I'm
let's
so into
collect
it.
cats. Let's go shopping, for cats or something.
I
And
love
it's like,
prototypes.
when this is an actual game on a
Yeah, I'm
shelf,
gonna be
Mo
like,
would
nah.
never look at that. He would like go, "What the shit is that?" And then, but you see a prototype of it and you're like,
I
"Oh, wow, look
love
at this."
prototypes.
And you tag me on it. And I'm like, "What?"
I love prototypes. I got this thing. I want to make a site that's like prototype porn and just have board game prototypes. That's it.
You're a
I love
weirdo.
prototypes. I don't know, just something about it, you know.
It's the potential. You see it and you're just like, "Oh, potential."
Maybe. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's look. It's
I don't
not
know.
cluttered. It's not cluttered with fucking minis. It's awesome. It doesn't have specially shaped wooden meeples. Badass. I don't know. I'm just
Do you
talking
wish
shit.
that games like when they came out, Ian has to block his ears for this one, but do
Uh
you wish that
oh.
they still look like prototypes?
There is a sense of splatterness that I like in games. I like
Yeah,
simple. I like the old way 18xx used to be. I'm a
yeah,
minority though. Like, you know, I'm into niche and boutique stuff, which
yeah.
brings me to something that um, Ryan tweeted today.
Hmm.
So Ryan Courtney tweeted, he had a poll and he asked, you know, that if people thought that boutique games were underpriced, overpriced, or about right. And it's like this
Yeah.
like, okay, so one, I don't value polls that much because you have to find the right people to poll for your poll. So if you ask like
Find the pole people.
yeah, if you ask everybody, hey, do you think like splatter games are overpriced? Well, the majority of people are going to say, yeah, they're overpriced. And
But
that's
not the
why they're,
smarter
oh,
people.
yeah, you're
They're
not the
gonna be
spotter
like,
people.
hell no, I'd pay $800 for this.
Right. And that
Maybe
kind
not
of
that
goes
much.
with it is a boutique game. Part of it being a boutique game, it's made in low numbers, which means it's going to cost more. Done. I mean, there's no, if the moment you make it price it within the market that people are used to paying, it's no longer going to be a boutique game, in my opinion. It's going
Yeah.
to be, uh, it's going to prance around like one, but it's not. But that's just my opinion.
It's
It's
gonna prance around like one.
yeah. It's not a boutique game because it's a regular priced game. It's just a regular ass priced game that I am paying for. It's not something that's like I don't know.
I don't know. I'm really skeptical though. Like if they drop the price, it's gonna fail somewhere. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. It's just not gonna be the same.
But that
It hasn't gone
you're
through the rigorous playtesting, or it hasn't gone through something's. Yeah,
you're
it just
more
can't happen.
likely to trap me buying a game if you overprice it than you are if you overproduce it. If you overproduce it, I'm a minority in this thing. I am not going to be interested. But if you overprice it
Yeah.
and underproduce it, I'm going to be like, there must be something to this game because you
Actually,
actually doing something.
that reminds me of something.
Oh,
At the game day, I did try another game, and this is how much I fucking hated it.
oh, you
That
forgot about
I've,
it.
yeah, I forgot about it, and
Mhm.
it was that block and key game, block and key,
Oh yeah, the game I was interested in.
right? And I was interested in it because I liked the whole visual puzzle
Hmm.
thing, because I still love Tetris and all that stuff. So basically, like you're looking at the board, it's like a this. The reason why I thought of this just now is because it's overproduced, but I almost got sucked in because of that.
Hmm.
Because the box lid and the box uh, bottom make this like table thing.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah, yeah. That table
and
looking
there's
thing.
like pillars, and then you put these really nice pieces on there. They're really nice chunky 3D Tetris pieces, polyomino pieces or whatever you call them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when you stack them, like you're right at eye level, and you can see like these certain patterns in the thing. If you can get those patterns lined up, you can claim your cards and you get points that way. So like
What's it priced at? I wonder.
I don't know, I didn't even ask, but it
At the right
almost suckered
price,
me in
it
because I was like, look at this, look at this. It looks amazing. And then playing the game and it was just like, oh, the pieces fall over. And it's not a dexterity game. They're not meant to fall over. They're
mm,
like falling over and it was fiddly and it was just annoying. And it was like barely even a game because it's just like, yeah, do the
it
thing.
looks
Okay,
so
I did
cool
it.
though.
I
It
did
sucked
it.
me into it. For a person who doesn't like overproduction, it sucked me in. I was like, this looks cool. It
No,
looks
you
like
know
it
what's
could be something.
cool? There was an app that I used to have and I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up, but it was like you had all these weird things hanging in space, these like 3D wacky objects,
Hmm.
and you had to manipulate them so that the shadow on the wall behind it showed an image
Mm.
of the thing you were trying to so you'd like manipulate. Now that was cool. That was really fun.
Is
And I
that
thought it was
something
going to be
in?
something like that. I thought it was going to
Okay.
have that sort of vibe, like be tricky to line up, but it wasn't. It was just like the other person would put a block in the way, and now the color that you wanted doesn't show, and you're like, the color I want doesn't show. I got to put the color back in the thing, and
How
it
long
just
was
was
the game?
boring. It was boring.
Not how long did it feel? How long was
For
it?
8 hours long. 45 minutes, an
That's
hour.
not bad. It's not bad. You didn't dig it.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
like
you're
it.
not selling it
And I was like, oh, I was tempted to buy this thing. And why? Why was I tempted to buy it? Because of
because it
the
looks
way it
cool.
looks. Stay away from good looking games. They're covering up
Well,
something.
okay, so there's a difference between like aesthetically pleasing and like overproduced. Like
Yeah,
I would
100%.
go, um, this definitely has a bunch of stuff. Like when you look at the foundations of Rome, I want okay, so one, I love Rome. Two, it's cool putting buildings down. So that game really, really excites me, but I know that its complexity level is very low, and I've already been told it's not as heavy as you would like. So
You've
it's
been
on
told it's
that.
not for you. It's not for
Yeah, I've
you.
been. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's got all the elements that I don't think I want, but I want them. and it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'll get to play it at a con sometime and sneeze over the whole goddamn game and put
No,
my foot on
don't
it.
sneeze on it.
But yeah,
You'll floss your toes, and then you'll
the on the
floss the
buildings.
game, floss the buildings. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Ew, that's really gross. Don't do that. Yeah, I forgot about that game. That is a very you game. Daniel loves Foundations, but you have to play with the trading stealing module.
Oh, nice. I like trading. I like stealing. Yeah, I like both of those things. I like the buildings. I like
He's
the
getting
big box.
suckered in.
I know,
Stop
like
it.
when somebody comes to a con with it, it's like they're carrying this thing. It's like it's huge. The boxes for it and everything, it's huge. It's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something I would want to bring to a con.
That's the whole point, though.
It's too big. I'd
It's
rather
like
take a giant bag of sandwiches.
that's a toss up. That's a almost maybe. It's a way to man spread without man spreading. You just go to a table and you just take over two tables and you take everything and
Like
you just put it
boom,
all out. It's
done.
me. It's me.
Yeah,
Did I tell you that that we went to a con and we went to did I talk about this last week or the week before where we went
we
to
haven't talked about it.
we went to that mini con, me and Lyndon and Brian, and we got a couple of tables and we're just gonna sell some of our old games. And me and Brian went to go eat, and Lyndon was there. So there's three of us and two tables, and I did all the work to line up the tables. And what I said was, I told Brian, I go, dude, Lyndon's watching the tables. He's going to take a whole goddamn table to himself. He's not going to split it three ways. He's not going to take into account that I'm the one who lined it all up. He's going to take a table. He took up almost a table and a half with all this shit when I came
Right.
back.
I just
How
want to
rude.
clarify that when you say you lined it all up, as in you got it organized that you would have a table, not that you physically put two tables together, because that obviously doesn't take a whole lot of
No,
work.
no, no, no,
But
no,
you
no.
mean you
I made
actually socially,
I
yeah, right,
messaged the
right,
person.
yeah.
I'm the one with the
I just wanted to
contacts.
clarify that
Yeah.
because it was like I lined up two tables. Like,
Okay, sorry.
oh, it's not very hard.
I could just see somebody do exactly what you said. That's not very hard.
It's really not that hard, dude.
I think
Anyway.
Daniel said something.
Oh, okay. Daniel said you have 2 tokens that are worth 2 points at the end, or you can steal a location and give that player one of the tokens, which is now worth 4 points, but you don't have to come to an agreement. It's a mandatory module for me.
Okay, I'm sold. Let's buy a huge.
No,
Let's
you're
buy
not.
this.
Stop.
I'm sold.
You are
I'm
not.
sold. I love Rome.
Stop it. It's like adding the time stones to bus. Elevate's a very simple game. Ah, time stones.
So, I don't think your apartment's big enough for Foundations of Rome. I really don't. It's pretty
That's
big.
good
It's
for
fucking
me
huge.
because I don't want it. I
Time to
don't
get a
want
bigger
it.
place.
I get intimidated by games like that. I'm like, I don't want to learn that. It's too much. It's too
Mm.
large. You know, like you see a Kickstarter and it's got all this stuff and it's just like, nah, that's going to give me a
Daniel's got a
headache.
good point. We could live in the box.
When I got Endless Winter and I got all that stuff, I was like, I'm an idiot. Why did I get all of the expansions and that? It just immediately made me want to throw it in the bin. I was like, oh,
You
this is
could.
too much.
That's what you thought when you got it. You didn't think that before.
Yeah, when are you?
I'll make myself laugh. I'm sorry.
I'll
That
throw
was
you
funny
in the
for me.
bin.
I think you're looking for a new co-host.
Yeah. No, because if I had a new co-host, who would I, hang shit on? You're so, you give me so much material, babe. Yeah. So Ian's saying, when are you designing a Rome game?
I
He
would
would
love
design a
to.
Caesar game. You would design a
Well, there's some
emperor
interesting
game.
aspects about Caesar and things, but I would probably want to do something that is very different than anything's done before. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If I can come up with this crazy angle that no one's thought of, I would definitely do it. Because I
No designer
love.
has ever said, I just want to do one that is really similar to one that everyone else has done.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think any
I think they've
designer's ever
said
said
it, but
that.
they haven't said it like that. They've said, "I want to design a game, and I'll take a little bit of Caverna, and I mean not Caverna. I'll take a little bit of this, and I'll make it
Splash
worker
of that
placement,
and
and yeah, that is how they say it. They don't say it the other way.
I don't know. Maybe they do actually. Maybe some have just gone, I'm just totally going to steal that person's idea. But do it really
No,
commercial.
I think they probably
I'm going to
seen it
sell
and say,
lots of
look,
copies though.
I know, I think people just say, I can do that better. I've got an idea that's better. Or I like that and I can do it better.
Ian has said people have definitely tried to recreate Glory to Rome. Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
even Carl, what's his name? Carl Chudik? Carl.
Yeah.
He's tried to
Chittick.
replicate it. He tries to replicate it with all his games. Aren't they all basically the same? Mott and I
Well,
was very similar.
okay. So dominant species, it could be argued that my conflict of plants looks like dominant species because the idea for doing what it does came from dominant species just because of doing the minority majority crazy little thing at the time. But that just came because we were playing this idea, and I was like, "Oh, this would be cool if this could happen." And I'd had
Mm.
a history of designing games before, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to build something original, but it's still going to use hexes, and it's still going to use this, and it's still going to use that. So there, I guess there is a little bit.
You can see there's a bit of inspiration there,
Yeah.
100%. But that's fine. I don't think that's bad.
Oh, sure, it is bad, but
It's
it happened.
horrible. Get rid of it. Delete.
In the trash. Just wait
Start
until
again.
people forget about the dominant species. Stop thinking
People
about
would
denial.
never forget about
I
dominant
know.
species.
I know. I know. I
No,
know.
no, no. I seriously do. Like, think that it's way different.
It is. It
It
is.
just has
But
like a little bit of a vibe. Like, I think like you'd play it and you'd definitely go, oh, I think there was definitely some inspiration. Just
yeah, they
like when I
definitely.
played Gloomhaven, I was like, oh, there's definitely some inspiration from Mage Knight.
Oh yeah, yeah.
100%
Or,
has to be. But that doesn't
or
mean Gloomhaven and Mage Knight are the same fucking thing. Did you see that it got knocked off the number one spot? We should
oh,
talk about
okay.
that. It's like
So
big board game news.
why? Why is it news? I'm gonna be exactly opposite. Like I'm gonna be like, what the fuck
So
do I care? What's at number one?
it's so important. No, I
I
don't know, but it was cool to be in the same room as Martin Wallace the day his game was became number
oh,
one.
did he say anything?
I don't know. I didn't talk to him.
Oh, you didn't see him like jump up and say, "Oh, I'm number
I just
one."
went, oh, you're over there.
I don't put a
I
whole
really
lot of.
wanted to play his game, but I didn't play it and I missed out because I was
I don't
teaching
put
too much.
a lot of stock into like the top 100 BGG scores, but I do think it's cool for the designers to get there because at least they'll get some accolades and they'll get paid for their work. Other than that, like for me, I don't care who's number one, and more power to the people who care who's number one. But it definitely a lot of people have been saying, yeah, Brass is number one, and then oh, it got knocked off, and now it's back, and like for me, I was like,
I kind of do care because I'm like, well, like sometimes that you and I say, oh, we kind of are like off in our own little niche area, right? But I think that's a sign that like, oh, well, maybe the majority of gamers do like heavy Euros still. Maybe that's a
if
good
that was the
sign of
case,
indication of.
the original Brass would have done something like that. They want the new color pretty one, the
Yeah.
one
Not that
that
I'm saying
Roxy
like,
did.
not that I'm ever saying that I could make a game like Brass or anything. I'm not saying that. I just mean that it just makes me go, oh, this is the vibes. The current vibes are we like heavy Euros. Arc
Mm.
Nova's at number 4 though, so I don't pay that much attention either.
Yeah, but I'm way too much of a hipster. If the top 10 were heavy Euros, I don't know if I'd want to make one.
What if really?
Really. I wouldn't make anything probably if I wanted to make I would make cube. I would try to learn to make cube rails or something else. I'm too much of a hipster. I don't like.
You are. The hipster part is the part that you like literally it's not that you don't like it. Like you love trick taking games and you're just going to be
Yeah,
like, "No, I refuse." And then you're going to watch everyone like play trick taking games. Everyone's having a great time. We're all laughing and having fun and then you're just like, "No, not
I'm not
not
playing
playing
that.
that."
Nope, nope. I'm not playing that. That's my hipster side. I just don't like. I don't like following trends. I really hate it. Anyway, so I'm sure we've got. Looks like we got a lot of messages.
Yeah, no, it was just Daniel saying that Martin Wallace kicked over the table and poured champagne on himself.
Yes, I would have loved that.
That would have been great.
Just throw champagne on me. That would have been the
That's
shit.
nuts. If you don't know why it matters, why does it matter enough to change your creative output?
Hmm. I don't know. There's just something for me. It's just something in me. I really hate following trends.
Yeah, it's literally Mo with everything.
Yeah,
He
I've just
he was so into Love Island until everyone started watching it, and then he was like, "I'm not watching this
I'm not watching this
anymore."
shit anymore.
And that was like his whole life. And he got T-shirts made, and he
I
no, I
I
don't
don't
know.
want to live in a
There's
world where I'm compared with the other Love Island watchers. I want to be on that. It's not really bad. I'm kind of going overboard here. I just don't want. Okay, for a trick taking game, it was interesting, but since I've got so many interests, it's cool to narrow one out and say, you know what, don't work on that. As far as playing trick taking games, I'm just really talking shit. I'll play trick taking games. Just put it in
yeah.
front of me. I'll play it. I'm just talking shit.
And yeah, he's talking shit. But like you said something that actually was a little bit legit the other day that
What's
you
that?
maybe you've forgotten it now, but you said to me because you were explaining it to me because I was complaining about it the other day, and you said that well, what happens is you get a whole bunch of people releasing trick taking games quickly, and like
Hmm.
they're trying to follow the trend, and so then you got a whole bunch of like kind of shittier ones, right?
Yeah, you
And
gotta
so
wait for the
you
cream to
were like,
rise.
if you step back from it, then yeah, the cream will rise. That's what you said. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I still
So
believe
you
100%
had
in
like
that.
you had like a semi valid point
You were
there. So I
sane
thought
for
I'd
a
just
second. You were sane for a second.
yeah. Ian said, but it's the possible perception that you're following trends, right? Because you know you're not doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
it
You're not
is.
doing it. Yeah, that's what I say.
It's
You're not just following trends.
okay. So
You're not
face
just a
tattoo
sheep.
next week. Done.
Oh God.
We already lied. Ian convinced me to get a face tattoo. That's what
It'll
I'm
be my
telling
face.
everybody.
You're gonna have my face on your face. Can you
I'll
imagine?
have my face on your face on my face. That's that way we'll go 3 levels deep.
Yes. I love it. Why
Mm.
only 3 levels? You go further than that. Face tattoo.
There we go. Yeah, that would. Oh, what would
Oh
suck?
my god.
What would suck is trying to explain to other people why do you got to poop tattoo emoji on it? Because I don't have anything better to say when somebody flirts with me. That's why. This is me flirting with the world with
Yeah,
a
if
poop
someone
tattoo.
flirts with you, you can go, you can
Poop
just point
emoji.
to the
Yeah.
babe. I think that would be the end if you got a poop emoji on your face. I couldn't do it. I
Oh,
couldn't do it. I
that's
don't
sad.
think. I'd be like, let's just be friends.
So if there's ever a time where we got to break up and we want to make it, very clean break, I'll just show up with a poop emoji. We won't say a word. It'll just, oh, he's got a poop emoji. Okay, this is it.
Yeah.
Just start packing.
Yeah. You don't have to go to that extreme. You can just, you know,
Well, no, I don't have to.
break up
We
in a
can
normal way. You
we
could
could
just
fake it. No, no, it would be get a temporary poop emoji tattoo and make it seem like it's real. That's that's the best look to do it. That's the best way. Fuck being
burn those
civil.
bridges. But it didn't work the first time. You sent me a poop emoji and I'm still here.
That's true. It wasn't on my face. We're still
No,
working on
it
it.
wasn't on your face.
No, I
No.
guess.
All right. So
All right.
another thing, designer envy. Ooh, did you
Uh
did you put this on the list because Ryan's got an exclusive deal with
Actually, I
Spielworks?
didn't know because of our conversation. Our conversation about like when you talk about like another person that you're doing something with, like if I'm gonna say, if I'm gonna talk about Ryan and his deal, um, it's not envy. Like I don't have envy of Ryan's success in that sense.
Yeah.
I have envy of the possibility that we're different people, and I wish some of the things that he does I could do. Not I don't want his success, and I don't want like to make a deal with somebody or anything like that. Like there's a certain style of game that he can make that I just don't see myself being able to make, you know? Cuz like
Mm.
on my own
A game with pipes.
a game with pipes. No, like
Okay.
I always want to do something that pushes an envelope that I see and the envelopes that whatever he's doing or whatever I don't see those. I like his games. I wish I saw what he saw. I have an envy of what I think he's capable of doing.
Mm.
But we're very different people. We could probably never do the same thing. But whenever I see some designers or whatever, and it's a way to admire what they do, is to envy the things that I see in them that I don't think I can do myself. but it's also a way
Yeah.
to strive to be better as well.
Yeah. I'm I just want to say like I'm really happy for Ryan. I think it's going to be
Oh
really
yeah,
cool and I'm excited.
definitely.
I'm excited about what he's going to put out there, but seeing him like announce it everywhere, it did make me think I wonder how many people are just like real like secretly like
I'm tired of
saying,
seeing.
"Yeah, congratulations," but like underneath they're just like, "I
Hmm.
hope this sucks and like why didn't I get this and blah."
Oh, you mean on
And
the
I could be
designer
totally
side?
wrong.
On you mean
Yeah,
on the
like other
designer side?
designers. Yeah,
That might be.
other designers that
I
are like,
wonder.
congrats. And they're like, underneath,
It,
they're like,
if you're
ugh.
like that,
Just
you
made
would
me
have to
think
be
about
a
it.
very zero sum person. I don't think you can own pipeline and the cost and foundations of Rome. You can own them
Mm.
all. Like, and that's part of like one of the things is you can own multiple games by multiple people. So it's not a zero sum game. Why not do that whole thing where all boats rise? You know, like if there are designers out there that are like that, I would think that you're being very zero sum because I don't think anyone's going to go and say, okay, I have a choice between, let's say, the cost and pipeline. I only have $50 for the rest of my life. I can only buy one. Which one am I going to buy? The other one's going to go in the trash or whatever, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, emotions are very illogical, right? Like you feel them
True,
without,
true. Good point. I
like
try to
what
be
you're
real
saying makes
logical.
sense, but
I
being
try to be
jealous of
really
someone
logical.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I guess not. Um, I don't know if I could be jealous of somebody for success in that way.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm jealous of like different kind of creativity that I can't like. Everybody thinks in their own little way. Maybe it's
Right.
jealous of a way they can think that I don't think have ever tapped into.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, like I'm like that with you sometimes. Like I'm like trying to explain this the like mechanic well, I'm trying to explain what I want the essence of like my game to be and then you're like, "Oh, you know what you could do? This mechanic would show that what you're trying to do really well." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so good." You know, your idea with the stacking the maple thing.
Right, but
And
it
I'm like, that is a really clever mechanic for the thing that I'm trying to convey and you just did it in like one little in like 5 seconds. So jealous.
ooh, Ian's got
Worst.
something to say.
I think it's more common for people to feel down on their own work because they're not enjoying the same success they say other people are. I'm not sure if there would be many who are upset because they think they deserve it more.
Hmm. That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's a good point. That's a good way to look at it. It looks like someone's thought of this problem before. That's pretty. That's very insightful about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, maybe my work isn't good enough because I haven't been offered this or something. I don't know.
And that's what the crazy thing about this is that it's very much a I always say Rochambeau or rock paper scissors kind of a thing. You have to have the right publisher who wants to do that kind of work because a lot of publishers will like your work or like what you've done, but they can't fucking do anything with it. They're not the right person for it, and vice versa. There's some publishers who could sell your stuff and don't like the game they're doing. I mean, it
Mm.
just because somebody does your publishing or whatever doesn't mean that it's aligned. And to make this all work, it has to align in the business sense. So I never look at it uh, like personally, I never look at it like you didn't like my work unless you just specifically tell me I don't like your work. And it's very rock paper scissors because what someone doesn't like, someone else will. Kind of like me and the way things look. Like I like the old way 18xx look, but they look pretty cool now, and a lot of people like the way they look now. You know, I'm usually wrong. So
Also, like the other thing that Ryan sort of hinted at was that he wasn't getting as much creative freedom with
right,
those other publishers, right?
right.
That's the other part I thought was really interesting.
That is interesting, and I kind of wonder if I wonder what his version of creative freedom is because mine is going to be very different.
Mm.
To me, creative freedom is to go past a line that is socially acceptable, and his is probably just make something. I assume it might be, it could be something as simple as make something that is not necessarily going to be a hit just by the theme alone, but he'll show you that it'll be a hit or whatever. I don't know.
Mm.
That's just what it has me thinking.
Hang on, you don't want to create something that's not socially acceptable. You don't
I
want to
want
create
it's
something
right
that's
on the
socially
edge,
unacceptable.
right on the edge, right on the edge. You've already heard a couple of my crazy ideas. It's right on the edge,
True, I have. Yeah,
and you
definitely
know that
thought provoking, but not
maybe,
this is socially unacceptable. You
maybe.
haven't designed Naked Twister or anything like that.
I had my Sacrifice Virgin game for that
Oh
little.
yeah.
I don't think that would be acceptable. Anyway, let's not get into that.
Well, I don't know. No, no, let's get into it. What was it again? What was socially unacceptable about it? It was
I don't think
like
you can have willing sacrifices that are.
sacrifices.
I don't know what you would call
Sacrifice
it.
I is the correct
Okay,
plural.
I don't think that people will be down with that. Or my game that was about sexual assault and like the hiding of sexual assault. I think it's thought provoking and a good subject to talk about, but it's too triggering. You can't really do it.
Mm.
You
I don't
know.
know. There's been some pretty shocking things like that. Obviously that train one.
Yeah, but that was more of a art exhibit than it was a game.
Right.
The moment that you're trying to sell it as a game, I think it's when it starts
So
falling
it's like
apart.
this is too, yeah. It's like this
And
isn't
it's
fun because this is depressing.
right, and it's only a one-time shocker. It's the shocker only one time.
Mm.
Once you get it, and then I tell you about it, you don't even have to play it. You already know what it is. It's you know, if the gimmick's done.
So you think like a game that's about sacrificing virgins and like Incan times, whatever, you think that would be socially unacceptable?
Showing
Isn't
that
there like a
they're willing sacrifices. I don't know.
that's not a word.
I know it's not a word. I
I'm
made
pretty
it
sure
up.
that's not a word. Sacrificing.
I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. I had really gone down that. I remember telling you about it, and you says I don't know about this one, and I'm like, okay, next thing. I've got plenty of
Well, it's,
ideas.
yeah, it's kind of depressing. But I think like there's interesting historical stuff you could do. You did listen to that like 10-hour podcast about it. You got to get something out of that 10
Well, no, it's
hours.
it's about the ballet, the rites of spring, and how I think it was like Scandinavian little villages sacrificing people to spring, and I don't know. I thought it would be really cool to do a trick taking game based on that.
On sacrificing virgins. Okay. Yeah, that's not what I thought it would be. I thought it
Hmm.
would be more like of a historical thing.
Well, it has some historical significance, but it's not like given to a specific place or something.
No. You can do a lot when you give something the historical context and the
Hmm.
proper, you know, respect that it needs. Ian would play your Midsummer game,
Yeah,
Midsummer.
like the Midsummer movie, or like the Wicker Man 2. I think we
I don't know
missed
if you were
something.
around, Ian, when I was bitching about the Viking werewolf thing, but I'm so disappointed. I'm bitterly disappointed that it's not set in Viking times. That was a major point that you didn't explain, Mo.
Vikingless
I
werewolf.
got so excited
Why don't you just watch a Viking movie? Why does it have to have werewolves
because
in it?
it was the combination of the two things.
Okay.
Okay, I want to talk about buy me a tea and Sarah a coffee.
Okay, so before that, I think Ian said
What?
something is almost. I think he did one about a weird crisis.
Oh, I didn't see that. I
Yeah.
always go through a weird crisis whenever I hear that someone directed an amazing film and they're like 22 years old. It's pretty natural, I think, especially as you get older and the leaders in many creative industries are similar in age to you. Yeah, it is. And I even get that sometimes with like even, like with Bo Burnham and his, bloody inside thing.
Hmm.
I got jealous of that. And I'm like, but I haven't ever wanted to make a film. Why am I jealous of him? Of course he can do it and I can't. Like he might be young, but he's at least he's definitely more likely to be able to do it than me. He's been doing YouTube videos forever. But yeah, you see something amazing that's come from someone young and you're like, wow, when I was
That
young, I wasn't doing anything.
that's that famous thing that's in the Shakespearean version of Caesar, and it's people say that it's true, but I think somebody else wrote about it where Caesar's in Alexandria, and then he goes to the tomb of Alexander the Great, and he weeps because he realizes he's like double the age of Alexander whenever Alexander conquered the world, the
Yeah.
known world.
Yeah.
It's that same thing that's like just been going on since time immemorial. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I'm too old.
Right. I think Allison is Missing might be a good example of hard topics to cover in a game setting. I haven't played, but from discussions on podcasts, it seems to fit. Huh, interesting. I have played Alice is Missing.
What is that?
Um,
I don't know what that is.
I don't know whether it's a hard topic. Well, okay, so it's an RPG,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you play it like you can play it online. You play it without talking or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you play it in like text messages or over Discord
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And I guess what actually happened to Alice is different in every game, right? Because you're basically making it up. There's like I wasn't the game master, so I don't even know what the rules of the game were. Rules were.
Sacrificey, and then
But
fucked up your brain.
yeah, like yeah, I don't know. It didn't get. It became more of a murder mystery thing. It was pretty.
Is it
Yeah, I
about
don't know.
a missing
I
child or
can't remember.
something? Like, because that would
She
be
was
difficult to deal with a missing child
no, she wasn't
thing.
a. Well, in our one, no, she wasn't a child. She was a young woman, and
Mm, that's still kind of fucked up. It is.
yes, I guess so. I mean, you're making the story. It's going to be as fucked up as you make it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you make it all fucked up, then
Well, okay, so like the
it's
worst
your horror story you're telling.
is not going horror and going realistic. Like the thing with like death metal, the more outrageous it is, the more it's like, I can, this is nothing. This is just horror
Yeah,
crap. But the more
yeah,
you go like deadpan normal shit, you're like, this is fucked up.
right. Yeah.
Like movie, I think it's called what is it? It is Gone Girl or something like that, where she fakes her own death,
Oh,
and
that's mess. I've read the book. I haven't seen the
it
movie,
is
but the book's
so
amazing.
disturbing. It's so
Yeah,
fucking disturbing,
yeah,
and it's way more than any horror movie I've ever seen. Like that thing
yeah.
is
The way she
fucked.
sets him up
Oh
is
man, it's so
crazy.
like
Oh, spoiler alert!
ah,
Spoiler alert!
too late. If you haven't
I
seen it by
loved the
now,
book. I couldn't put
really,
that book down. Yeah, I read it in like a couple of
mm,
days. I just
that's pretty
smashed through it.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Pretty hardcore.
I wonder if
Okay,
the movie's as good. I don't know.
all right. So we were going to talk about tea. What did I write down?
You said buy me a tea and Sarah a coffee,
Okay.
monetizing your hobby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so the train rush is really interesting, guys. Okay, so I'm friends with Craig and Joe, and I talk to them like daily, or well, I talk to Joe. Craig just being or give each other shit. But anyway, so they do a podcast about train games. They don't release very many episodes because they work on them really hard. They're very different, but they have a problem with having like a Patreon. And a lot of people do. They have a problem with like monetizing their hobby. And other people don't. Other people are like, yeah, send me money, send me games, do the whole thing. And their whole thing, like, I tell people that why not let your fans, buy you a coffee or, send some money your way because they feel like they're part of what you do, you know?
Hmm.
Like, I want to support the people who are doing good, amazing work, and I would rather do that directly. I don't want you to feel like you have to go to a publisher or get advertising, go all this backward way. I want to reimburse you for your time directly. It's like giving a tip in America. It's like you do
Yeah.
good work, let me show you some appreciation, and doing it with money is the least I could do. Besides being a viewer or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we've talked about this before
A little
maybe.
bit,
Like
a little bit.
I'm for that too because I think that to me just makes more sense. Like I'm very unlikely to watch reviews by someone that's getting paid by publishers. It's very unlikely that I'm going
What
to do that.
But
Even
if they're
getting
not getting
free
paid,
games. I don't want you to review free games. I want you to review games from people that don't have the marketing budget to send you free games. You
yeah,
know,
there's that, and
that's what I want to hear about. I could hear about those games anywhere. They're everywhere. Leave me alone. Don't shove them down my throat. Like, I think it just makes more sense that it should, the reviewers and the critics of the hobby should come, there should be that barrier, and they should be on the, like, on the side of the people, not,
I'm
not in league with the publishers. Because then
I'm
it's just
very
a then it's just marketing material. Sorry.
no, I'm just very much on the side that we as people, as consumers of content, should get used to paying for the content we consume and get away from this free model, or watch more commercials. And I don't want to watch commercials personally. I want to get away from watching commercials. I want to interact with the people I enjoy, even if it's just buying them a coffee. And that's kind of what I was trying to was what
Yeah.
I was the
But I
point.
think they do. I think that people do. I think that we are there now. You don't think we're there now? I
No,
mean,
I
there's going
think
to be some people who are like, I'm not paying. I'm not giving him anything. I'm just going to watch for free. That's okay.
well, yeah, that's
Everyone
okay.
will compensate
But
for those people.
I think the content creators need to be more apt to be able to do that. They need to feel okay to do that. Like it upsets me that Trainwreck does not allow me to directly support. Like they're
Okay.
not doing it for that. They don't want that. So the only thing I can do is just tell my friends, "Hey, listen to it." But it's
Yeah.
for me, it's not
Well,
enough.
that's
Like
something.
but for me, it's just not enough. Whenever um, we had a copy of the cost sent to them so they could review it, and they had
Mm.
never received a copy from anybody else of anything to review. And
Mm.
so they decided after that that they didn't because we became friends and it compromised they believe it compromised the ability to critique the work.
You
So
ruined it by
I
being
ruined it.
friendly.
Yeah, I ruined it. So they'll so if they give me a bad review, it's inflated because they're trying to compensate for the friendship. That's what it is. I would really like them to
Yeah,
have a
that's what it is.
Patreon. I'd really like them to have a Patreon because I'd love to send a few bucks just to get a coffee or just, just to show that I'm a loyal listener or whatever. But that's just my opinion. I
Yeah, what's
it's
your
more
problem, Train Rush? Let us send you money.
I want well like okay, so
They feel bad that they never put out a podcast. They don't want to take people's money
oh
because
well then I could really hold them
they'd
up. I was
feel
like, I
pressure.
really
Yeah,
want an episode
yeah.
now. That's
Like,
what I
where
want.
is it? Where is it?
It's
And then they'd
it's a
feel that pressure.
leverage. It's leverage. That's
Right,
that's all I want is
right.
leverage to get them to put out another
I know. I
episode.
knew that. Ian said that in Gone Girl, he has Race for the Galaxy in the storage closet.
Ah, I remember there was games in there. I don't remember Race for the Galaxy being in there.
Nice. I like that
But
it's
it's
in there.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That it's not Monopoly or Catan.
Hmm, it's okay as long as it
It's
has some
okay.
games in it.
I wonder, like, who on the team, that made that movie is the board game person that just had to put a board game in the closet.
Let's just say
You just have to
it
do
was
this so that
Affleck. It was Ben Affleck. We already know. He's
we
cool
know.
like us.
Look at him. Just look at him.
Yeah, you can tell he's a board
He's
gamer. You
got
can
that
tell
look.
he's an avid board gamer. You can tell.
Yeah. So did we get to the yeah. Okay. So what are you trying to say? Is this your like lead up to then going, we have a Patreon now.
No, because we don't.
Nude Cubes have a Patreon.
We do.
The link is below.
We
Send us some
don't.
money.
We don't. We haven't done any work yet. We just basically talk.
Right. That's
I guess
true.
it is some sort of work, but anyway, no, it wasn't. It's not about
Talking with you is work.
yeah, that you deserve a coffee for that. That's for sure. No,
Yeah.
it was just really. It's more about the train rush thing, and
Oh, okay.
I've talked to content creators before that don't want to do Patreons, and I'm like that's the best way. It really is the best way. Um, I think Punching Cardboard Jim was kind of anti Patreon. He
Mm.
finally got one up. I just think it's something you should do. Just for the sense of your fans can just feel like they're contributing, and you
Okay.
shouldn't feel obligated to it either.
Except if you're Mo.
Except,
Just
unless
listen to Mo, but he doesn't want to do it for him, even though
right.
he's saying you should do it. He's not going to do it.
I'm not gonna do
He's
it.
not going to take his own advice.
We're not. We have okay. So at 200 subscribers, I'll think about it.
Okay,
Dun
that's
dun
fine. You don't
dun.
have to follow your advice. It's
I'm
fine.
not going to.
I'm not the one that said it.
It's not really advice. And if you're listening to advice that I give you, you're fucked anyway.
Oh dear. Okay. Do you think I don't understand what this one is, so I need you to
Oh,
this
skip
can
it.
be the last one
Well,
because it's
skip it.
actually an hour and a half. No, I want to know what you're talking about. That's why I'm
Oh, I
asking
might
it.
not even remember. Go ahead.
Well, I hope you do because it's number 2 on the list.
Oh
It's up the
shit.
top. Do you think entertainment mocks artistry similar to opulence mocks elegance? Isn't that the same thing? What's the difference between opulence and elegance?
Um, it's okay. So
They
there's
kind
one
of
more on there. Get the
they kind of
last
go
one.
together. And glamour mocks beauty.
Okay, so there's a version of, let's say, artistry, and
Mm.
there's a version of like overselling it that like cheapens it. As far as an elegance is cheapened by opulence, like showing too much,
Going overboard.
going overboard. And the same thing goes with beauty and glamour. Like the difference between being beautiful and being glamorous, there is a difference. You could make them the same thing, but the thing is, I don't know. I was listening to some guys talk about it today. I was Most Def was talking about, um, you know, having making their art and then having to be the person who sells it and where that line is, and when you're a commercial artist versus just an artist, and the
Mm.
further commercial you go, the less of an artist you feel like you are. Actually, this is a good subject for Ian, which says I don't do art.
I
If
told
he's
him
still
off
there.
Ian too the other day because he was like he mentioned you and he did say art and artist in like the same paragraph,
Right, but
and I was like, stop it.
I am of the feeling that if somebody calls what you do as art, you can't really argue with what they say. I mean, it's the interpretation of it. I can do a craft, but
And that's why you can't say that glamour is not beauty because some people will see a glamorous person and go, that's beauty to me. So I think that whole thing's
yeah, glam metal is
poop.
beautiful.
Glamour.
It's all about glam metal.
Some people like over the top,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not
and some
saying that
people
over the
think,
top is bad, but it kind of defeats like beauty. It's like the opposite of simple
I
beauty.
hate this. That's bullshit. Daniel said, I can argue with them calling my work art because lots of people are dumb. This sounds like something that I would say.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, lots of people like this. Yeah, but
but they're
lots of
dumb.
people are dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just
Lots of
something that.
people watch MILF Manor, okay?
Oh, let's talk about
That
Milf
doesn't
Manor.
mean, oh, MILF Manor. I was telling someone about this on the weekend, and I was like,
Oh
do you know that
shit!
there's a show that exists that's
Called.
MILF, that's called MILF Manor, and this is the thing that's going on, and we're doomed as a species.
Oh, who were
So
you telling? What did they say?
I can't remember. I think I
Hmm.
just told anyone that would listen.
Hey, everybody! Here's Milf Manor.
We're just in the middle of American Bookshop, and I'm like, "Hey, everybody, just stop for a minute.
There's something called
Listen
Milf
to this.
Manor that
There's a
exists.
show. There's
You got to
a
explain what Milf Manor is now.
Oh God! All right, so there is a show in America where he is.
Yeah, on
You
the Lemon
guys,
Channel, TLC. On.
America. People are watching it, and it's called MILF Manor. And there's like mums who are, they're between, they're 40, 50 years old, and they
But it's
have like 20-year-old sons that also come to MILF Manor with them. And then they, Ian says MILF Manor is definitely on.
definitely.
And then the sons are trying to get with the other mums.
Yep.
Like, gross. And people are watching this. And
Yep.
it's,
It's
like just think about that if it was dads and taking their daughters
yeah. It would
and go,
totally
and
not
go and get
fly.
with the other.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's a reality show where single moms and single sons are there, and they're basically trading. It's like trading
It's
cards.
not good.
People,
This is not good, people.
people trading cards, and they
No,
talk about
Ian,
their
this is what it is. This is what
yeah,
it is.
and they talk
Yep.
about their sexual experiences, and it's very awkward, and like dudes are hanging out. It's like, oh, you got with my mom kind of shit. It is so fucked. It is
Yeah. It's
royally
like,
fucked.
it's so yucky.
Gross.
What the hell? Spotmonk says every Mother's Day deserves a Mother's Night.
Amen. Amen.
What?
Amen. So so when you're watching it, you can say,
Oh.
"Oh, look, it's Mother's Day again."
Oh, it's from a Lonely Island song. Oh, okay. I've never
Mm,
heard that before in my life. Oh god, that's funny. It's
mm.
terrible. That sort of thing, it's like we've talked about this before. There is like a more guys that are in their 20s are not super mature yet. Women in their, you know, like 40, 50, 60 are pretty mature mentally. It's not the same. It's not right. It's not cool. It's so not
It
cool.
is the equivalent of playing basketball with someone who doesn't have arms. To me. To me, it's like that's unfair. You're
Yeah,
way overmatched.
it's
Okay, so
gross.
if you
It's
take a
very gross.
20-year-old male and a 20-year-old female, he's probably overmatched. And now you're taking someone who has wisdom, it is way overmatched. Way overmatched.
People
You've lost
are
that game before
watching
you played
this.
it, brother. Well, it depends. I guess you got to redefine what winning is. I guess that's what they're doing. They're redefining what winning is.
I famously don't like, I famously, between you and I, don't like reality shows,
Yeah, reality shows
as
are
you
pretty bad.
know. But there was one that I used to watch for a little. I used to watch it with a friend of mine. She got me into it. It was that millionaire matchmaker one. Have you
Mm,
ever seen that?
no. Mm-mm.
Okay, so it was like millionaires who basically their personalities were so shit that even though they were millionaires, they couldn't couldn't find anybody.
What?
They couldn't get a girlfriend. They couldn't find anyone because they were such shitheads that even though they were millionaires, they
Okay,
still can't be
so
with anybody.
I
So
got to
she
step.
would be like, she would just tell them basically that she'd be like, you are shit for all of these reasons. You need to be better. And then she would match them with somebody. And she would
Okay,
just like,
a quick aside to this. Just a quick on YMH, and there's that guy that says, if women don't value you in America, go to the Philippines.
oh God.
That guy. This is, if you
Yeah,
want
that
to,
guy was on this show, maybe.
yeah, maybe, maybe.
So
How?
YMH is your mom's house, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's just comedy
Yeah,
podcast.
Tom
What
Segura and Christina P talking.
Pajiski? I can't say her name. Anyway,
Anyway.
most people can't because that's why it's a P. But anyway, so millionaires who suck.
Yeah.
Millionaires
And
who
they
suck.
usually just had like, have you ever seen those things that go around and it's like a dude with just this list of like, he doesn't understand why he's single and he's looking for the woman with all these traits and there's like 100 and they're just like ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
the dudes were like that. They were like, I want someone who is like all that, just gets out this scroll, like all these things. And it's just, and they're really shitty things too, you know?
Yeah, that's my famous saying. If you want to be successful, lower your standards.
Yeah, you're always saying that.
It's a good joke. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a list of some of qualities that you want in somebody else, you failed. You failed to even understand what it is to be human. In my point of view, you should just accept people and just have fun and talk to people.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's things that you don't like in people, but you might have just it just might have been the combination that makes it worse than that person. Kind of like um fish sauce is bad, but but when fish
Is
sauce
it?
is mixed in soy sauce, it's pretty goddamn good. You just had it in the wrong way,
Oh,
you
did I have
know?
it in the wrong way?
Yeah, it
Is that
was
what
in the
happened?
wrong way. That's what
Can
that's
we
what
talk
it was.
about that? Because that was really sweet. I think it
Sure,
was
if you want
sweet.
to. If you want to.
Yeah. So we had this whole thing, which we talked about on this show, which we talked about on New Cubes,
Hmm.
where I teased Mo because he was like, what sauce is this? Like, I thought he couldn't find the sauce in the thing that I made for him. But then later I realized that that sauce has fish sauce in it.
Hmm.
And I didn't even know. And he doesn't like he smells fish like a little bit in food and he's like gross. Like he does not like
Yeah, I
seafood
don't do
at
seafood.
all.
Hmm.
And here's him like being given this meal that had fish sauce in it, which I didn't realize. And then I teased you about it because you were like, huh, Americans, they need so much sauce. But you could taste the sauce deep down. You knew that I'd put fish sauce in it and you didn't like it
I knew there
and
was
you
something
just ate
fishy.
it. Yeah. And then I just like just realized when I saw that the dumb sauce had fish sauce in it. And I'm like,
Um,
oh, that's why I hated
it
it.
had the maximum amount of fish that I could probably have in it.
But you let me tease you about it.
Of
You
course,
just were like, fine,
I'll take one for the
whatever.
team. I'll take one for the team. Sometimes you got to take one for the team. You just say,
It just
okay.
made me feel like the biggest idiot when I realized that I'd fed you fish sauce and that
What are you
you
supposed
forced
to do?
feed it.
If you go to somebody's house and they feed you something you don't like, have you ever gone to somebody's house and like me, I don't like a whole lot of gristle, and they gave me some like something that had gristle in it, and you kind of spit it into a napkin and you try to feed it to the dog or something and try to act like everything is
Yeah,
great.
everyone's done that
Yeah.
at
So
least
like
once.
the other day, the same thing happened at work. That lunch they wanted to give us all food, and they brought a bunch of fucking chicken on the bone, like fried chicken. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna eat fried chicken. And everybody's there just going to town on their fried chicken, and I'm like just trying to hide it and like break it apart and move it on my plate to look like I ate some. And as soon as somebody wasn't looking, I went and threw it away. And they're like, "You want some more? It's good chicken." And I'm like, no, I'm good. It was really good."
You're like the only person who eats meat that doesn't like fried chicken. Like fried chicken is kind
Um,
of a popular thing.
I just don't like. I don't like dark meat, so it doesn't really work for me when it's on the bone.
Yeah,
But whatever, it doesn't really matter.
it's
On
fine.
that note, are
I'm
you
not
sure
going to
you
feed you chicken. That's for
are you?
sure. I'm going to try not to give you fish sauce in future too.
As long as it's not too fishy. That one was a little fishy, but it's fine. It's whatever.
You know, I was going to say on that point,
Mm.
like it doesn't matter what list you have for things that you want in a person because, like, if you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with them anyway.
The
They could
poop
have a lot of
emoji and
stuff.
everything. Poop
Poop
emoji, yeah,
emojis. They could have a
on their
whole
face,
bunch of stuff
tattooed.
that you don't like. Like,
The list of stuff you don't like is probably going to be longer than the list you like, so that's fine.
right. And it'll grow as,
It's still growing.
as the
You
relationship
want to
goes
see what I
on. They
added
grow.
just now? I definitely added some stuff since we started.
Over this chat. Yeah, I've added like 8 things over the course of this chat.
That's cool. I've got two more for my limit for today.
It's
I
like
have
I
two more.
mentioned that I used to watch Millionaire Matchmaker, and you're like, well, that's definite. No, I don't like that.
I thought you were marriage material. Now we're talking about reality shows. Oh no. Okay, so
So
is is that it, or is there one
I
more? Or
guess
is that
so.
done?
I was only
Okay.
going to say like one more thing about that Alice
Yeah.
is missing thing. Like when Ian says that that's something that people have really like. Sometimes I wonder if I'm just like a really um insensitive person.
Hmm. I can answer that. Just kidding.
Is that on the list? She's insensitive.
First week.
I
First.
I wonder if I am though. Like a lot of things don't they just kind of bounce off. I don't know. I don't
Mm,
really get upset. And then people will say, "Oh, this is upsetting because of this." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense."
mm. Yeah, I,
Am
I
I a
wish I had
sociopath? I don't know.
I wish I had more info on that because I don't know that particular RPG. It
Yeah.
sounds interesting, but if you have a a victim that's a female, I'm
Yeah.
assuming she's a victim.
Yeah.
That's something hard to deal with because it's very triggering, and I think women disproportionately have bad experiences when
Yeah.
they're traumas and stuff, and it's not limited. It's not outside of board games. It's all inclusive. Board game. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're a female, you probably of all the females I've ever met, there's usually trauma there of some type, and it's totally unfair. And
Yeah.
it's just likely you're going to trigger somebody. But On that note,
Ian reckons that might be more resilience than sensitive. I hope so. I hope that's what it is.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe it is resilience. Maybe I'll uncheck that out from my list.
It's now in the positive column.
No, I
Yes,
didn't
I
say
got one in
that.
the
We'll just have
positive.
to relabel it as I don't like resilience.
You don't like resilience either. What the hell? She's too resilient. I don't like that.
Yeah, I want someone not as resilient. That's for sure.
That's so messed up. Oh dear.
It's a good joke, though. It's a good
Yeah.
joke.
Good one, babe. Pat you on
Yeah.
the back. You did a good one. We've been talking for almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna
So
get
I
back
guess
to
we got to end
studying.
it. Thanks everybody for showing up.
Thanks for coming. I'm sorry for everything that I said.
I'm sorry for everything Mo said too. I didn't mean it. I
didn't mean any of it. It's all lies.
Just like the joke. You know me, I'm a
Okay.
jokester. All right, cool. I guess
right.
we'll talk to everybody next week or whatever.
See
I
if you
guess-
can figure out how to turn it
How do you turn
off.
this damn thing off? Still trying to figure that out.